That's a magic number. Yes, it is. It's the magic number.
What does it all mean?
Hello and welcome to Flintoff, Savage and the Ping Pong Guy. That's me, Matthew Syed. We're back with another set of meaty topics. First up, we're going to discuss the Ashes. Then we're going to find out what we're all excited about in 2018 and what's going to bore our socks off. Remember, you can use the hashtag FredSavSide to suggest future topics you'd like us to hear about. But before we start with this new series, let's do what we always do, which is find out what we've been up to. And this time, what we've been up to over the entire winter break.
Oof,
And
long
Robbie,
time.
Yeah.
November the 20th, I think our last podcast was.
Really?
Yeah, wasn't it?
How long ago?
November the 20th, yeah. I'm obviously taking note of when it was. Missed you guys,
Yeah.
although I've been with Fred most days. Until he went to Australia
Yeah.
for your 40th on your own.
Well, I didn't go for my 40th. I went to work.
Yeah.
I went to Australia for 2.5 weeks
Wow.
because I do that Ninja Warrior. I present that over there.
What is that?
It's adults on a climbing frame, to be honest.
Oh, so like Cannonball.
What?
Yeah.
There's a theme.
I think Ninja Warrior's been a bit more successful than
Cannonball
Cannonball.
was all right. Christmas present was good.
Yeah, it was all right.
The kids loved it.
I had 2.5 weeks in Australia, in Sydney.
How'd you cope with the jet?
Sydney.
Really?
Yeah, jet lag was all right. Get on a plane, go to sleep, bit of food,
Yeah.
couple of movies, and you're there, aren't you?
What was it like being on your own for your 40th?
Yeah, it was good in some ways because I don't like the fuss around things. I didn't want the fuss of my 40th. I'm not bothered about being 40. I'll clear that up. And as soon as people say, like, you're 40...
The big 4-0.
Well, everyone says, oh, midlife crisis. And I'm not having one.
Really?
What?
Is that why you've been out and bought a load of new clothes?
I do it every year in the sales room.
No, you don't. You bought it before the sales. You bought a nice jacket. You got like a nice T-shirt on, tight.
Oh,
Better right,
it's
don't
tight.
you? You've got new shoes
I
on.
don't think it's a T-shirt that's tight. I just think it's my arms getting bigger. But I'm not having a midlife crisis, and I'm not worried about being 40. Although when people ask you how old you are, it does feel weird saying.
I was a Lamborghini and Ferrari. Midlife crisis. No, I'm just saying.
Still can't,
And the boxing.
can't fit in either of them.
I'm just saying.
But you know the strange thing about it is, you think I was thinking about it, and when you get to 40,
Yep.
all being well, you're probably just under or around halfway through your life.
Weird, isn't it?
And that's a really strange thing to talk about.
Does it make you think, have I achieved enough? Or does it make you think, oh my goodness, I've lost my youth? Is there any negativity associated with being 40?
I don't think I've lost my youth. I think I'll always be like this.
What are you laughing at?
He hasn't lost his youth.
But you just find that you can't do some things that you used to do.
Go on. We're going back to the Viagra story.
And then some things you just do a little bit better and last a little bit longer. I don't like using the word stallion. My pubes have gone grey. But besides that,
Oh, you've got some now.
But what I find now, me balls are like Matthew's head. I do a bit of manscaping. Anything else? Oh, they're shaking their heads. Keep it in, lads. Keep it in.
Yeah, come on, Mike.
I done Strictly, didn't I?
Oh, you
Hey?
did, didn't
Oh,
you?
gosh.
Strictly,
yeah.
Done Strictly.
I came and watched it live.
Do you know what? I was watching it Christmas Day. It was with a family. Sat down, and do you know what? When you're watching yourself back, and I had to go out of the room. I was a bit embarrassed, because.
That's what I did.
But I look.
And half the nation.
Why have you laughed for? Why have you started again?
I was going to say they had to leave the room with excitement.
All right, thank you. But when you're watching it back, and I've got to say, I look so orange. I look so orange.
It's fake tan for you. I've been telling you for years that cream you rub in your face. You're looking pale today, though.
I know.
You're
It's not
looking pale.
But when I looked at the camera, I went, last time I done Strictly,
Are
blah,
you
blah,
looking
blah.
in a camera?
No. Sure.
I think I said, did I say savage by name,
Robbie.
smooth by nature? It was like, I said that, and it was...
But that's the thing for Strictly for me. And Matthew, we're trying to get you famous enough to get you on it. We're working on it. We're working on it. But it's them VTs.
Yeah, I know.
I always wonder, because you're a strong-minded person.
I'm
At what point did you think it was good
to say it.
look one way and then turn into the camera? Savage by name, smooth by nature. What made you think
no
that was
idea.
a good line?
Yeah, no idea. I've no idea what made me do it. And then I danced and I got 31, the same as Jeremy Vine and Judy Murray. Can I just say, Judy Murray, what a fantastic person.
Well, wonderful.
Wonderful person.
Yeah.
Met her, brilliant character.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, brilliant.
She's amazing.
Amazing mother.
As is
Amazing.
Jeremy, as is
She's a lovely woman.
And when you think of how much abuse she took for so many years, just because she wanted her son to do well in
She
pub
milked
serve
it a
fifth.
bit, hadn't she? Let's be honest.
But I
She's
got
lovely,
30.
but she hadn't half milked it.
I got 31. I got 31.
Come on.
Seriously, I got the
Come on,
same.
hang on a minute.
Oh.
You don't think she has?
No, I wouldn't say
Well, she's
that.
not milked it. She's on Strictly.
Yeah, but I think that she's the kind of person who...
I've nothing wrong with milking
been a
it. Because
great-
I can milk it like the best of them.
But she's a great coach. She's not just the mother of successful tennis players. She created them. She helped to create them. She was like the inspiration, the mentor, the coach.
I'll
Then
get
she
me dad
went-
on Strictly then, and my mum. Here we are, dancing the rumba, Colin Flintoff.
I like to
Doing
see,
the American smooth, it's Susan.
I like to see Big Cole doing a rumba.
Imagine Val.
Oh, my mum.
Robbie's mum, an amazing mum. I love Robbie's mum. My kids call her Nana Val. She comes round the house, and she came round for Sunday lunch, and she's struggling walking a bit, and she at times.
yeah.
She's a bit,
Yeah.
And that music came on, but
Off
she
she
can
went.
dance better than him.
She was up.
Oh,
What
you
was this,
should see
Sunday
it,
Sunday lunch yesterday?
No, a few weeks
Oh, right,
ago.
yeah.
Amazing.
But
I'll tell you what,
I got
came
31.
with, I came with Stan.
31.
No, well, you thought
Was it-
you,
was
were
I the-
you were graded lower than you should have been.
Was I the same dance as Jeremy and Judy? were
I'll be
brilliant.
honest with you.
I'd
right?
left at that point.
31. I thought I was slightly better.
We all watched it because
Yeah.
we knew you were coming
Yep,
on.
yep.
I'm there. I've got the missus, the kids, mum and dad, my grandpa. We're all. It was the highlight of our Christmas day after the food and the present, and
And a
about
cup of
10 other
tea and-
things. But walking dog and then having a clear out. But we were all looking forward to it. So we sat there, and then first up, Robbie Savage. He does his dance, and I've got to say, Robbie, I know how much work you put into it, and it didn't show.
Why are you being horrible?
I'm joking.
Why are you being horrible?
No, I thought I was actually surprised because I genuinely thought you were brilliant. I thought honestly, and then. But you're one of them, aren't you? You go on, and you're an easy one for the judges to have a bit of fun with.
Yeah.
And they did. And 31, I thought you deserved about 33.
33 I'd have given, 34.
But then, if this was a cricket match, they'd have them in, wouldn't they? Them assessors. It was match fixing.
Right.
It was match
Exactly,
fixing.
yeah.
You can't rate Jeremy Vine, who, let's be honest with you, moves
Lovely
like
guy.
an ironing board.
Lovely guy.
And then what was that he was doing on his back? He was running around in a circle on his back. Come on, Jeremy.
But it was a great, and my partner Dan was, great teacher. And what you would say about the Strictly partners is, the patience they've got, the way they want to get the best out of you. And it was a great experience once again. And Kimberly Walsh and Katie, who won it, all great. Colin Jackson, what a legend. What a legend.
Yeah.
Having said that, though, I didn't think he was as good as I thought he was going to be.
Really?
I thought
His
you had,
rumba?
I thought you had him covered. as well,
Really?
to be honest.
Wow.
Wasn't as coordinated, not as fluent as you.
I didn't think he was as smooth as I was expecting.
Yeah. It was interesting going there. This is one of the things I've done over the...
Oh, you
What
went
did
to
you
watch,
do? Yeah.
didn't you?
Tell you what, I went with Stan, assistant producer
Yeah.
here for the show, and Clive, one of the guys who works out with you two.
Yeah.
The thing that surprised me about it was the level of pressure.
Yeah.
Even though it was a recorded show, live audience, they had a comedian on beforehand to warm us up, and I thought it would be quite easy going. Once it came down to the actual on-air edit, and the two presenters walked down the stairs, I caught Robbie's eye. He was looking over at me, standing Clark. You were nervous, mate.
Yeah,
you,
no.
I mean, you're white as a... Well, you're
Yeah.
orange, but, you kind of... you looked scared before you got on
It was
to
Christmas. It was a
Oh,
Satsuma.
man. Yeah, exactly.
What have you done?
that's one-
What have you done over Christmas?
Well, that's one of the things.
Just been filling his pockets. Hasn't he? He's not had a day off. He did a corporate on Christmas Day. He served Richard Branston his turkey. And did a 10 minutes. Did 10 minutes.
So, a couple of things. So, went to Strictly, that was good. A couple of things that I've done with you two. So, I went on, I think it was in early December, to a fantastic event. And I'm going to big Freddie up here.
Oh.
You have been, for a year, I think, president of the Professional Cricketers Association. And one of your responsibilities was to organise a fundraising event.
Not really, but I thought I should.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's the 50th year of the Professional Cricketers Association. It landed. I was my presidency during it, and the benevolent fund, which raises money for all types of different things, like an insurance fund for cricketers.
Yeah.
I wanted to try and raise some money, and you kindly came. Robbie didn't come.
yeah.
I was
working.
I was
Everton West Ham,
invited, yeah.
I went there, and this is a bad thing to say. I thought it would be okay, but I didn't think it would be stellar. It was absolutely incredible. The Roundhouse in Camden, one of the best live venues in the country. The entertainment was brilliant. You had that comedian Londoner, very, very funny. You, Piers Morgan.
To create an impression. You don't even know his name.
What is his name?
Rob Beckett.
Yeah, he was hilarious. Absolutely brilliant.
Lovely lad.
You, Piers Morgan, Jack Whitehall did a Q&A at the front. Very funny. Great auctioneer. But the other thing that really struck me hard about it is I didn't realise that ex-cricketers often have issues with mental health. It's a very high suicide rate. And they put together a video of all the people who had struggled. Amazing testimony. And I know it raised a huge amount of money. I left there seriously thinking that was an unbelievably well-organised, brilliant event. So I want to pay tribute to you on that.
I would love to take all the credit for it, but
you put a lot into that, right?
yeah, but M&C Sighting Moon, who look after us, the girls there, Richard Thompson helped us out, obviously. And then functions like that, you phone people up, and you mentioned Rob Beckett, one of the hottest young comedians in the country.
Oh, he was funny.
Turns up, does it for nothing. Piers Morgan gets a bad rap off everyone.
Yeah.
I tell you what, the amount he does for charity is amazing. Turns up, does it for nothing. Jack Whitehall, nothing.
Really?
Martin Bayfield, I reckon, probably the best host for functions like that.
He was
Did it for
absolutely
nothing.
brilliant.
Auctioneer charged, but everybody else, nothing. So a function like that is only as good as the people around you. It was a great night.
Well, I wanted to pay tribute to that, Fred.
What did you do Christmas Day?
Christmas Day.
Are you big on Christmas?
Oh, we really
as a family, you're big on it.
It's a massive, massive thing. Because remember, I told you I grew up in a Christian family, so Christmas was always really important for the wider family. So we had at our home in Richmond. My parents on Christmas Eve, they came for dinner. They woke up.
Did you give the staff a day off, or did they serve you?
No, they were there. No. So they stayed. Then Christmas morning, I made a brunch. Bacon, egg, sausage bats.
So an English breakfast.
Wonderful English breakfast
Not
with
brunch.
Yeah, but in these
in
soft
Richmond.
white bats.
You can't have breakfast in
English
Richmond.
breakfast.
It's a brunch, innit? You can't have a breakfast.
And then you
Did you have
remember when
quinoa with your breakfast? Did you have a kale shake?
yeah, with an avocado.
I bet he don't drink Prosecco neither. I bet it's champagne all the way.
What do you do? Prosecco?
I don't drink.
It doesn't drink.
That's true. That's true.
I used to drink everything. Don't worry about that.
Mix them together.
Whiskey for
But
breakfast.
it was amazing. The kids when they woke up. So Teddy 3, Evie 5. Just think of it was just incredible to see their faces when they saw the presents that Santa had given.
What did they have?
What'd you get them?
Oh, I think too many things.
Really?
Too many things. Kind of like this fake digital watch.
A fake digital watch.
It's kind of like
I
this.
bet you. It sounds a brilliant day in your house.
What time is it? I don't know.
You've had bacon and eggs.
I didn't explain that very well.
Teddy a fake watch.
A 3-year-old, a fake digital watch.
What I mean by that is it kind of records how many steps you've taken, and
There's
also,
a Fitbit.
and it's got games on
It's
it.
not a watch.
Yeah, what is it?
Yeah,
tell the time.
Yeah, it does, but it's not like a high-end digital. It's kind of like a kid's version of a not a digital watch, like a smartwatch, if that makes sense. I'll give you the other stuff.
Wow.
Teddy got a blue dragon. Evie got the strawberry shortcake. My parents left after brunch to go and spend
Cartoon character.
Oh.
It's
Yeah,
not like a
strawberry.
biscuit.
That's what I thought.
And then Kathy's mum and dad, her 2 brothers, their wives, kids, all came.
What'd you buy your wife?
Trestle tables. For Kathy, I bought a weekend break at a hotel in
Where to?
Oh.
Who with?
What do you mean a weekend break?
Who with?
with?
What, who with?
Me and her.
Well, that was a present.
Yeah.
You going away
Bought
with your
yourself
wife.
a present.
Wow.
Yeah, that's true.
What did you buy Sarah, Rob?
Actually, I got my wife a handbag, which is a very nice handbag, a pair of shoes, and surprised her. So I sent my wife and the boys away to New York on New Year's Eve.
Did you go?
No.
Oh, so it was actually
a real
for
present.
her.
For her. Yeah, for her. I just thought she wanted to spend some time with the kids.
Like a mercy present.
Went to New York and she
I tell you what, it'd be a better present if you left her at home and you'd have gone away
yeah.
for about 6 months.
But they went and it was the weather, it was -20, the bad snow. Did you read over Christmas?
In New York, yeah.
Flights got cancelled.
Oh, no.
So they stayed a day later.
Didn't know, really. She went on a green screen. There's no snow in New York at all. She said to the boys, boys, you ought to go home. Is Dad working tomorrow? No, he's at home. Oh, can we stay? Can we stay?
Do you know what I found out, though? That how much I missed her. How much I missed her.
Oh, he pulled it round.
No, but it's such a tough job, as we say.
But that washing was piling up, wasn't it?
Seriously. I
He
have
had to get Stanley round to come and do his laundry.
Stanley come down one night for a game of cards. Stanley come down for a game of cards one night. But I was sitting there. She does so much for me and my family, honestly. So
What did you get for Rachel?
Oh,
I got her. I did get her something.
no, you didn't.
What did I get her?
Oh,
I get her so much I can't remember. I got her. Come
Clothes?
back to me. I did buy one thing. Come back to me. Come, tell your story, Rob. I'm
so
thinking.
you
I'm gonna
missed it
text
when you
her.
got back. Did you told
Oh
her?
yeah,
how much
yeah,
you
missed her. Yeah, I did miss her, and the kids missed her. Of course.
I got a jacket. I got her a jacket. Jacket.
Did you go and
She
buy
chose it.
your? Yeah.
Now, but what we're going to do is like, because there's a lot. I was 40,
Yep.
and then it's Christmas, and she's 40 in April. She'll be so pleased to have
Oh,
told
wow.
So we're going to do something together. We're not 100% sure what it is yet.
You're going to do a party as well. I've got to tell you, when
don't know if I-
Kathy was 40 last year, my wife, and we threw this party for all of her friends. And I'm not big on birthday parties. You know, I just don't like celebrations necessarily when you're turning a particular year. And it was amazing.
What was it? I'd gladly have a party for her,
Yeah.
but I don't want one.
We had yours.
We went to Ibiza. I
Yeah, it was
spoke about Ibiza.
amazing, wasn't
What he did, I've got to say.
What was the birthday meal that you set up for Fred on his 40th birthday?
Well, I was in conversations with his wife Rachel. What should we do? And she told me about when they got married. Your meal was
Fish fingers.
fish fingers, chips, and beans.
Yeah.
That's what we had.
So what he
love
did,
that.
what he did
Yeah,
in
fish
Ibiza
fingers.
was
Yeah.
unbelievable. It really was. But getting back to a party,
Yeah.
I like going to them, and I'd happily go to my missus's, but I just don't like the fuss of being the centre of attention.
So you didn't
anymore.
have a big 40th birthday party in Australia?
I was on my own, but then Richard Thompson,
Yeah.
agent, well, he's a mate. He looks after. He's a mate. He was out there. He came, took me out for lunch at Icebergs on Bondi, beautiful restaurant. Then I went to watch people fall off a climbing frame in the evening.
What did you? Didn't Rach get you some balloons sent over?
Yeah, she always
Played
does
music.
that. Big set of balloons, and if you tapped them, it plays a song.
Oh.
What was the song?
Well, in hindsight, I think she chose the wrong song.
What was the song?
Well, it wasn't the song she thought it was going to be. It was, I think I love you, so what am I so afraid of? You've been married 13 years nearly. What do you mean, I think I love you?
What did she think she was choosing?
Well, something a bit better
A
than
bit
that,
more
I presume.
romantic.
But then the kids sent presents. I got a T-shirt off my son. I got this. Do you know what? It's these little things I love. The T-shirt was from Corey. It said 40, and these hands pointing. This is what cool looks like. I got a pillowcase, which was made for me, with all the photographs of all the family.
What was it?
So it was like all different photographs. So what I did was I didn't put it on the hotel pillar, but I put it on top. So I slept on it every night. And that was lovely, you know.
Yeah.
And they were all med cards and things. So I'd sooner that than some grand
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't wait for having that interaction when the kids can do something spontaneous and buy a present for me. Rob, just one other brief thing that I did in the winter break is Robbie and I hooked up a couple of times. We went to the darts, didn't we?
Oh, went to
Ali
the dart.
Pally.
Oh, yeah, so did me, myself.
yeah.
and
You
Andrew.
went on the
to
final day, didn't you? We went earlier on in the competition, but we also met and had a drink one night. What amazed me, I had no idea, walking around central London, hanging out, is how many people recognised you.
He's famous,
It was
isn't
a
he? He's
joke.
famous.
Couldn't move without somebody
Right.
coming home. It's amazing. But the thing is, so I was going to say,
What I couldn't realise is how many people didn't recognise you.
no one did. No one.
Like, because he plays it down.
He does.
He does stick out a bit, though, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
the
With his hair and his
yeah.
clothes. But a lot of people do recognise you. And
thought you
also
took
as
it in
well
your
now,
stride as well.
it must be better now that you're not a footballer.
Yeah, much better.
People must be a lot nicer.
Much better. But it was a good night, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, there were a couple of people I thought were a bit negative, and
You always
just
get that,
you just
though.
smiled. Yeah. You patted them on the back. You said, "Forget about it." You just moved on, and that's quite impressive.
Can I tell you what I did
Yeah,
yesterday?
go on.
You know, yesterday, and this is not a plug. This is nothing. I had one of the finest meals of my life.
Oh, I seen you.
Oh,
tweet
at
about it.
the Toby.
I went to Toby Carvery. Have you been there?
Yeah.
4 meats. You get 4 meats, a mountain of veg. Make your own veg. I've never seen.
Make your own veg.
Well, you pick your own veg. I've never seen as much gravy in my life.
Wow.
And I tweeted it, and then you get food snobs slagging it off. I'm sorry.
This is good.
If you've got a problem
old-fashioned-
with that food, it's you's got the problem. It's not the food. Best meal I've had in ages. I've eaten at all these restaurants, and I've been to all of them. My taste buds yesterday were tingling for hours after a Toby Carvery.
Which Toby was it?
Macclesfield.
Love it.
And the lad serving me knows me dad.
Colin.
Well, I mean, yeah, he'll be on Strictly next year. Mate.
Let's do a quick Ashes chat. Last time we were in the studio, the Ashes were just about to get going. So let's quickly find out what we made of it. Let's start with the cricketing expert,
Robbie.
Fred.
I'll be dead honest with you. I didn't see much of it. I don't have the correct channels to watch it on. That little channel that they get a few people working on.
ET Sport was on, but what a fine job we done.
Yeah, really. About as good as the cricket. But
ET Sport, brilliant job.
I thought England were going to win. 2 things surprised me about the series.
Yep.
One was how good Australia's bowlers were.
Yeah.
And you look at them, and I know Australia have had the great bowlers in the past. Let's say great, they've had Warne and McGrath. So if you put them in any attack, the attack's going to be good.
Yep.
But I reckon, as a rounded unit, them fast bowlers they've got now are the best they've had.
Really?
In a long, long time. People will criticise me. You've got Stark bowls fast left arm. Hazelwood surprised me so much. He was the fastest out of all of them, bowling at 150 odd k's an hour, which is what, 90 odd, 94 miles an hour. You had Cummins, who I didn't think was any good, who was good. And then you had the spinner Lyon. So I think as an attack, it's as good as you'll face. So that surprised me.
Just for a comparison, Fred, how fast did you bowl?
Regularly late 80s,
Uh-huh.
at top end mid 90s.
Yeah.
Did you get over 90?
What? I bowled 96 and a half.
Did you?
Get me fastest? Yes, Robbie. What's your mouth out? The strange thing
96
was, I don't want.
Nobody's got.
I don't want this to be about me, but
Has anybody got? Was it
Shoaib Akhtar bowled 100 mile an hour
Right.
twice, both at Nick Knight, not in
Wow.
the same game. But yeah,
So it was the combination of their aggression, but also it's a bit of variety as well. With
the
spinner was
left
great.
arm.
Yeah.
But do you know what also surprised me? England's fragility.
Yeah, right.
How fragile they were.
Yeah.
And I don't mean this just on the pitch, but when they started getting a few words said to them, they started moaning like children. I didn't see that coming. That was a bit soft.
Yep.
On the field as well. Do you know, there's times in any sporting match, and I'm not saying that I was perfect. I went to Australia. I lost 5-0. Mm-hmm. I know how hard it is.
Yep.
And you get on a bad run against them, and they just hammer you. Mm-hmm. But what surprised me so much was, you know, in them situations in the game when you needed someone to dig in, dig deep with a bat or the ball, with the exception of possibly Jimmy Anderson and Dawid Malan, who surprised a lot of people, nobody was prepared to do it. You know, the little bits I watched, we were running in and bowling at 81 mile an hour. What are you expected to do?
So why is pace so important then for a layman on cricket? Why is pace so important in Australia?
It's quicker. It's great. It's quicker, obviously, but also as well at home. This is boring. You use a different type of cricket ball which will swing. So pace isn't a bigger. It's good to have, but it's not as imperative. So when the ball's doing nothing, there's no movement sideways. Pace is what you need.
So 90 mile an hour in Australia is different from 90
No, it's
mile
not.
an hour
It's not different. But in England, you've got other options. The ball will swing around, it'll bounce, and it'll move off the surface. So it's skills like your Jimmy Andersons.
Yeah.
Your Stuart Broad can move it around a little bit. But if you haven't got that, if it's doing nothing, you're bowling straight at 80 mile an hour. So if you've got pace, you try and ruffle the batsman. You can bowl bouncers at 90 mile an hour. Yeah. You make them think about something else. I thought Jimmy Anderson was exceptional, but he didn't get the backup. And the other thing that annoyed me was we got beat. We were 3-0 down, right?
Then people started scoring runs.
And then all of a sudden, Alistair Cook, 200.
Yeah.
And I'm not having a go at Cook here because he'll be gutted he did that in that game and not the first game. But some of the other lads started running in and all these cricketers from the past, right, who played in dead rubbers. And there's no getting away from it. Yep. If you've lost a series 3-0, the next two are dead rubbers. And I've seen England sides in the past win the last test match in Sydney and celebrate like they won the Ashes. Embarrassing. Yeah. You're playing a dead rubber. Yeah. And then the fourth test was the most competitive. Yeah. And I don't care what you say. The Aussies wouldn't be as intimidating.
Can I just ask a quick question? You called the Ashes series correctly, but Steve Smith, as a captain and as a batsman, people are talking about him as potentially the greatest batsman since Bradman. Some are saying he might even go on to transcend Bradman, and his technique is so unconventional. What do you think about him as a player, as a potential icon, and technically, should we be modelling batsmen on his technique?
No, I don't think you can model on his technique. He's got a way of playing. And I think the game's changed a little bit where people now aren't saying you've got to play it in a certain way. Right. You find your own way. And I think Steve Smith, the thing about Steve Smith, which is so impressive, he is a person, whoever's coached him as a kid, and I think his dad has a massive influence in, to back yourself to be able to play like that and not be changed. Right. Whoever's been involved in that deserves a massive pat on the back. As a captain, I wasn't having him before this series. I thought he was a little bit soft. I thought he was very un-Australian, which hasn't been the case. He's been ruthless, like the Aussies are. Big pat on the back to him. So Steve Smith's been brilliant. Transcending Bradman, no chance. Yeah. But he's up there with the likes of Virat Kohli. Him and Virat Kohli are the best two players in the world at the minute. But getting back to the dead rubbers...
Surely Cook was under massive pressure... because people were saying, is this it for Alistair Cook? And then people who are going in for the first time or not having big scores.
I don't care what you say, right?
Surely.
If the series is over,
but still, the pressure on yourself.
The next game is easier. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying they're going to give you runs, but it's easier.
The pressure comes off your shoulders, right?
Yeah.
Well, so hang on.
With more freedom, more liberation.
Listen, I don't know who played in Test 4 and 5, but if you're... when did Alistair Cook carry his bat?
Alistair Cook out of it.
The Stoneman.
But this is England. This is England as player, as a country in cricket. And I was in sides which have done it. When you're expected to do nothing, we do a lot. When we're expected to win, we don't necessarily do it. We can't carry the pressure of being favourites or expectancy. The teams I played in couldn't do it either. So I'm not excluding myself from this. All right? We're always good.
Right.
We're always good at bouncing. We're always good at bouncing back as well. After a bad performance, we always come back stronger. When a series is over, the pressure is off. And also as well, if your career's on the line, you've seen this in so many sports, so a part of you resigns yourself to it. Yeah. And then you just go out there and you think, what have I got to lose here? I'm just going to go and play. And that's when we perform. And all these people were coming out afterwards, ex-players, were talking about, it's just as hard when the series is over. It isn't. I'm sorry. It's not easy, but it's not just as hard. And a lot of people who came out saying it have performed very well in dead rubbers. And that's why, for me, the statistics in cricket are so misleading. It's not about how many runs you score. It's not about what you average in any sport. In football, it's not about how far you run. It's where you're running, when you're running. In cricket, it's when you score your runs. And I'm sorry.
Look, he's on with us.
He's right. He is 100%.
When you get to 3-0, just go home. Go home. Finish. We're finished like they do in the World Series of baseball and that. Just go home. We're finished. We're done here.
All right.
Nothing to see, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing to see. And while I'm on my soapbox, I'm going to keep going on. I'm fed up of taking the can for 2006, 2007's 5-0 drumming. Since then, we've lost 5-0 again. We've just lost 4-0. I'm the scapegoat. I'm the one saying it was my fault. I drunk too much. No, it's not. I was playing with a load of Herberts.
Can I just pick up?
I'm on again.
Go on.
Carry on.
Right? In that last test match, I love Joe Root. He got dehydrated. He had to come off.
What?
I played in 45 degrees with 15 pints inside me. I never got dehydrated. It doesn't exist. If you're thirsty, it's too late.
I want to pick up.
Wow.
Right, Robbie, I'll cut. I think the best way to translate that into football is you've got the World Cup. You're playing in the semi-final. You're trying to get into the World Cup final. The pressure. The whole nation is watching. The expectancy. You lose the semi-final because you haven't got the mental strength or you don't have the ability. And then you play a third, fourth playoff match.
Oh.
It's not the same, Robbie. The pressure is different. The psychology is different. That's not to say that it wasn't a great innings. It's not to say that you want to try as hard as you want to try.
Yeah.
But
It'd be
to
good
say
if
that
you did it in that
exactly,
innings,
of course you would. But the idea that the pressure...
Why you can both argue and you come for me?
Well, you were saying that the pressure's the same.
I'm just saying it's
not the
3-0.
same. I'm not saying they give you runs. I'm not saying they just throw them up to you.
So
But subconsciously,
if you're
they're not as
okay,
bothered.
Exactly.
I don't know who batted in the fourth and fifth test, right? But from memory, Storman, Vince, Root, Milan, who I thought done very, very well.
Surprised me. Him.
Yeah.
But if you're those youngsters and are not like an Alistair Cook or a Joe Root who's captain, if you're one of those players who hasn't performed and you're going into bat, you're thinking to yourself, if I'm out for a pair here or get a low score, I might not play again. So surely those runs for those people count.
Of course, there's going to be some individual pressure, but
That's what
Fred
I'm
is saying
saying.
is the whole dynamic changes when the Ashes is live. When you've got the chance to win that precious urn or retain it, the pressure is
I
totally
get
different to
that.
when you're playing for your average or you're playing for your place in the team. The nation is behind you. There's a totally different feel, a totally different ambience to a game.
That's a difference. That's a difference for me between good players and great players.
Yeah.
It's timing when you do it. Steve Smith turning games on their head by scoring runs when it's tough.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But do you know what? I watched the little bits I saw, and for me, you talk about Steve Smith and all these guys for Australia, but the one bloke who epitomised it for me was Hazelwood. Mm-hmm. I watched this lad bowl who, you know, he's all right and he gets them down at mid-80s. I watched this bloke charging in spell after spell like his life depended on it. He was running in like his ass was on fire. You should have seen him. He was charging in every time. And then all of a sudden, I watched a bit of England bowl, just lobbing in.
That's what I'll tell you
Stuart
what.
Broad. I'm a Stuart Broad fan. He's hard to criticise because he's taken so many international wickets. But if you're bowling at 80 mile an hour, Stu, you're not effective. Watch Hazelwood. Charge in. Get him down.
Going back to your point,
don't know, man.
So just say then, I'm playing. So Australia were the far better team.
They weren't. That's the thing.
Well, they were. They won 4-1, 4-0, whatever it was. Right. So if I'm playing Old Trafford, then just say, and we're 3-0 down. Yeah. Game's gone, over, finished. I'm just going to say, tell you what, they're 3-0 half time, right? You're playing against superior players.
Totally different.
Hang on, whoa. Game's gone.
It's not gone.
Hasn't gone. You can still come back.
Okay.
How's the
3-0 down in 10 minutes ago.
All right,
I'm just going to say, I tell you what.
It hasn't gone. You've got 10 minutes. You've got 10 minutes.
Realistically, okay.
You've got 10 minutes.
On
What
percentage,
about Liverpool?
Well,
What about Liverpool United? 3-0, 3-3. United 3-0 up.
Yeah.
What about Liverpool in
Different.
Champions
Istanbul.
League? Champions League
Yeah,
final.
those teams
It's not gone.
are on the same quality. You would suggest that's
England,
why they
Australia
play.
are.
That's why they played in the Champions League final, because when you've got Shevchenko and these players and you've got Gerrard, you would say they're on the par. When you're playing for lesser sides, which on the basis of being 3-0 down, Australia was superior. So 3-0 down.
Go home. You've won.
Right?
Go home.
So 10 minutes to go. I'm playing for a team, an underdog, like a Leicester, like a Blackburn, at Old Trafford, at Anfield, at the Emirates against the Invincibles. 3-0 down. You're saying to me, in your head, you're thinking, never going to score, never going to get a chance. We haven't had a shot. I tell you what, I'm going to take my boots off, go off.
No, I'm saying the exact opposite.
Well, then.
I'm saying you're 3-0 down. Go
home,
on.
you said.
What's the worst thing that can
have a
happen
go.
now? Go and have a go. Have a go. It doesn't matter.
But the pressure's totally
We
different.
keep getting beat. Let's have a go.
The point you made about
We're
average.
getting beat anyway. Have a go.
I think you're right, and I think it's a show. I suppose just to tail this off, Bayliss is Bayliss is going to stay as coach. Apparently, I'm really interested in why on earth, in the most important series that exists in cricket, the England players didn't have the mental strength. They were fragile. They didn't have the fire in their belly. They weren't as galvanised as they should have been. Is there anything that you can point to that might explain that? Because to me,
I think for the first time in a long, long time in cricket, Australia have become Australian again.
they were ruthless.
They were ruthless. They were like the teams used to be. England have become England again. We've gone back to 90s. We've gone back to being soft. We've gone back to taking easy
So
options.
Trevor Bayliss is stepping down 2019. What is he?
He's a coach.
Is he the coach? So he's the manager, is he?
Yeah, he's
Yeah, but
he's
what
a
is
man.
he?
He's
So he doesn't. Does
Yeah,
he
Homo
pick the-
sapiens.
So, wait there. So
he
he is
walks
the
on two
coach.
legs.
is-
He's an Aussie.
So who's the focal
Got a
point?
nose, 2 ears.
Who's the
Got a tongue in his mouth.
who's the focal point of English cricket? Oh, Strauss.
What is it?
Who's his boss? Who's Bayliss's boss? Strauss.
Andrew Strauss.
So Andrew Strauss employs the coach and the committee,
Yeah.
do they? Yeah. So would you ever go as coach? Would you ever put yourself forward for that job?
If you want me to do it, I'll do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you? Yeah. Would you? Could you have to put yourself forward?
I have done.
You have done.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you?
I applied.
When?
When Peter Moore's got the job for the second time.
Oh, so would you apply again?
What are you looking like that for?
I didn't know that. Did you know that?
Oh,
He'd applied for the England coaching job.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you exactly
Yeah.
what happened then.
yeah.
I can't remember who we've been beaten by, but we've been beaten again, and I watched it, and I was disgusted in how we were playing. I was disgusted in everything that was going on. And there's two ways you can go, right? You can either bang on about it, like a lot do. You can talk about it, you can put players down, or you can try and make a difference. And I thought, you know what? I'll have a crack at this. Knowing I probably won't get the job. So you had to apply, like you do with any job. So I wrote an email to the lad who was doing the interview process. He's called,
That's helpful.
yeah. I think I got the right email. Didn't get a reply.
Good start, that.
They were
You're on fire here.
they were using a fella called Chaplin, who's Tom Chaplin, the musician's brother.
Yep.
So he's on the interview process. I've sent an email off. I've written it, why I'm applying for it, what I think. 2 weeks pass, no reply.
No.
3 weeks pass, no reply. So I said to Richard Thompson, who we mentioned before, my agent, he knew I'd apply. So I've not had a reply. I've not had anything. I've not even had an automatic email. I've had no reply. So he chased it up. Turns out they didn't believe it was my email.
Shut up.
I've had one email all my life, which I've had fixtures on. I've had teams, where to turn up. One email. And he said he didn't know it was you.
So the ECB have used that email to contact you before. They get an email from
Everyone
that
has.
address.
I've only had one email.
No way.
So I've not had a reply. So then I do get a reply now because they know it's me. So I played out with this fella on phone. And he got to the point where he was talking about it. And I was serious. Yep. But my whole thing was, who is going to be going for this job? Who are you looking at appointing? Will I be better than the bloke that you're thinking of appointing? And Peter Moores was the front runner. And on my heart of hearts, an honest opinion, I would not be better than him. I've got so much time for him.
Yeah.
So after a 20-minute, half an hour conversation, I withdrew myself because Peter Moores, for me, was the best option.
Yeah.
And I said, if Peter Moores doesn't get it, or you're not going to have him, put me back in the act.
Really? Would you go for it again then?
When's it up? 2019?
Yeah.
Do you know what? If I'm talking with my heart, yes. And I want to do it one day. Don't get me wrong, I do. I want to do it one day. Whether, and it's a subject we're about to get onto now, or in the podcast about families and putting your family first and what's right. Or we're going to talk about that next week. And is that right at this point in my life? I'm not too sure. So I can't sit here and say, would I go for a job now? That's a conversation I'd have to have with family and everyone. But I would.
The time commitment is huge.
Yeah, and you don't play. But I would further. Well, I'd like to do it. Yes.
I just say, Fred,
when I don't know.
You mentioned it is so easy as a journalist or as a pundit to look from the outside in and say all of the things that are going wrong, and to critique coaches, to critique players, to critique the support staff, to actually have the balls to say, I'm going to put my reputation on the line.
Yeah.
I'm going to get involved. I'm going to make a difference to that team. I'm going to put in some new, fresh thinking. I think that takes real courage.
And also, as well, sorry, Matthew.
Yeah.
Other as well. I did a bit of commentary last year in the NatWest Blast. And I did a bit. And what I realised whilst I was commentating was
Dressed as Elvis, no? Was that?
I fell over a speaker, yeah. But what
You're going to be head of England cricket. You're dressed as Elvis falling over a speaker.
need to mix it up. What are you talking about? I'm not asking you for a reference. I might ask Matthew. No, but what I realised was, if you sat in a commentary box or you're in the pod as they do it on Sky, and you're looking at a game on a monitor, and you're watching it all unfold, and with the clarity of not being in it, with the clarity of seeing where a fielder should be, or what decision a batsman should make at that point, where he should be looking to hit it, where a bowler should be. But what you forget is, and too many people forget it, put yourself in that moment.
Yeah.
You got the pressure of the game.
Yep.
You got the pressure of the crowd, the expectancy that you're putting on your own shoulders. You're ticking, your beans are going. You don't think clearly. And too many people forget that.
Yeah.
You know, people who are criticising England, some have never, hardly any have won in Australia. Hardly any of them. They've all been there. Some of them are criticising the captain, never captained in Australia. I've done it. I know what it's like. And it'd be very easy for me. You know, we've had a bit of a joke saying he should go home after 3-0. But it'd be very easy for me to say they did this wrong, they did that wrong, they did the other wrong. And I've been there. And it's horrible when you're getting beat. And it's a hard cycle to turn around. The only thing I will say, at times, I just thought we lacked a little bit. I don't know if heart's the right word. Just a little bit of that up and at them.
Yeah.
That little
And,
fight.
you know,
Just fight.
And at that level of cricket, it's not so much about technique. They all know how to play. They've all gone through thousands of hours of practice and a lot of technical coaching in their youth. It's mainly psychological. It's finding someone who can inject.
But I think I've not got all my badges as a coach. I've got 2 badges. You need your 3 and your 4, I think. I don't know how it works. But I look at players and they get to that level, and I look at county players. And technically, I could help them a little bit. If you're doing something glaringly wrong, you can talk about it. But when I've looked back on my career now, I've realised that I should have spent more time on my head.
Yeah.
Is because when I was on it, I was...
More time on your head?
Yeah, doing me like...
To be fair, you were a lot of time on your back, haven't you, drunk?
No, but yeah. I spent all the time in the gym, contrary to popular belief, and practising.
Yeah.
But I should have spent more time on the mind, because if I was on it, I'd perform against anyone. If I wasn't on it, I'd perform against no one. And my head controlled everything. And a coach's job for me is making the players go out there feeling the best they possibly can be to perform. And I think with all the things I've been through as a player, later in life, and understanding me and my mind as a person, I think as a coach, or even as a mentor, or helping players out, I think that would be my greatest asset.
Just while we're on the subject of cricket, I seen a tweet off. It was on Twitter's talking about county cricket, and I seen your response. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah.
And I read it and said, "Wow." Do you mean like I didn't understand it about county cricket players?
The problem is what happens. England underperform. There's no 2 ways about it in Australia. And what happens is straight away it's the county's fault. It's some poor lad down in Derby or at Sussex who's probably get trained so hard, works so hard, and he gets the blame for it. And what happens in sport, everyone finds a level. For someone, playing for Derby might be the pinnacle of their career. They might work so hard to do that. They'll never play for England, but that's their World Cup. That's their big moment. You get some lads, and don't get me wrong, they've got no ambition of playing for England. They've got a nice life. They enjoy their life playing county cricket. What is wrong with that?
Yeah, so they should.
Why have people always got to be ambitious? I and we spoke about this in your previous podcast, sometimes I look at people and I'm jealous that the fact that they're happy.
Yeah.
They're happy with
Content.
what they're doing. I see my mates, they work all week and they just do the job and then they get hammered up weekend. But they're happy. Yeah. For me, that is not how I work. For me, whatever I do, I need to do better. I need to push on. But I also understand that other people aren't like that. And Matthew Pryor, he did this interview and this is what got my back up a little bit. He was pointing the finger at county cricketers. And whether the interview or the quote was taken out of context, I'm not sure. I don't care. But leave these lads alone. They're doing their job. They're having a go. And the other thing is, when England perform, nobody turns around and says, them county cricketers, don't they work hard? Aren't they?
Yeah.
That's the reason England have done well, because the counties they're producing players. No, when they do badly, let's blame them. Not the lads can't score runs or take wickets.
Fascinating debate.
Brilliant debate.
All of it. The Ashes, the psychology, the whole thing. Should we flick it on?
Hello, that's Danny Kerr, the England scrum half.
It certainly is. How does it feel?
It feels great. It feels right.
Feels nice, doesn't it?
And that's Hugo Monnier, my mate, who used to play for England.
And I'm Chris Jones, and we do a podcast together. It's called the Rugby Union Weekly.
Just imagine 3 guys on a pod just discussing and chewing the fat over everything rugby. And it's been an eventful weekend.
Yes, it has, guys. It's been brilliant.
Download it.
Subscribe.
Search for Rugby Union Weekly online or in your podcast app.
Great trio, aren't we?
First podcast of the new year. So in the second, final topic of this pod, what is the event, sporting or otherwise, that you're most excited about in 2018? And what is the event you're least looking forward to because it might bore your socks off?
Least looking forward to the World Cup.
Least looking forward to?
I've got to say, I had an option.
So right, I'm not trying to be funny here.
I'll get me reason.
Are Wales not in it?
Wales aren't in it.
That wasn't a...
There you go. Thank you, Andrew.
Oh,
so Wales aren't in it, Matthew. So am I looking... So when you work for companies, BBC, you have I had an option to go out to the World Cup. Mm-hmm. So, and you get designated games, whether it's for TV or for radio. And because Wales aren't there, like I went to the Euros with the BBC and I followed Wales. Mm-hmm. Best tour I've ever been to. Best time of my life. Great commentary. I go and wake your kids up. Something special's happening tonight, as my dad used to say to me when things were happening. And it was amazing. You go into games with a purpose. Yep. You go into games with something to look forward to. But for me, to go to the World Cup as a broadcaster, go out there, do all the travelling, fly around, Russia, which is a huge country. Mm-hmm. Why would I go and watch games? I love football. Yep. Nobody will watch more football than me. I love football. But why would I want to go and watch a game with 2 countries in the early stages when I've got no affiliation?
You don't have that emotion
for. So I can't think of anything worse than get on a plane in Russia, going 6 hours to a game, do the game, get on a plane, go 4 hours somewhere else. What is the point? So
it's a big country, Russia.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got and in the early stages, I've looked at some of the groups. They're going to bore me. They will bore me. I'll still watch them because I do love football. But am I looking forward to the World Cup?
Take the World Cup.
Not really. No Italy. No Holland.
Mm-hmm. No Italy.
No Italy. No Wales. Yep. It'll be the same old thing with England. Do you think it will be? I think it will be. I think Gareth Southgate's done a good job. I think could get to the quarterfinals. But, I would rather stay at home. There might be an option of us doing a radio show here, a bit of fun around the World Cup, which will be magnificent. I've got more interest in doing that as a broadcaster, being at home with my family, watching games on the TV, having a glass of wine at home, and then doing a show from here. That's what I'd do.
Look, I get that, because it does take the edge off if England are not in the World Cup. You don't look forward to it in the same way. You're not as connected to it. But sometimes...
I couldn't care less anyway, to be honest.
Sometimes the games between 2 countries can be fantastic. Who did New Zealand draw with in South Africa?
Italy, I was there, wasn't it? Italy.
What a game.
1-1. It was a game, and it was brilliant. It was brilliant, Matthew, but I'm at a point now where this season doing Premier League, FA Cup, Europa League, Champions League. Get to June, July, and the kids finish school. That's the time I want to be with my family. Yeah. I to be fair, I really do. So, am I asked about?
You're not looking for Fred. No. What if you had to pick a sporting event, or in fact,
how many do you want? Wimbledon every year.
You don't like it?
What's the point?
Oh, it's great.
It's tennis. I've been once. It's great. Heck. Oh, it's a pigeon. Let's all start laughing. Oh, it's raining. Ooh.
It's great.
Oh, it's
great.
best bit when it rains.
Have you never been?
He said he's been.
I've been. I did a radio show. I did a 5 Live show, and I had to do one from Wimbledon. So I met Judy Murray.
Right.
And she came on. She was wonderful. And then I went on centre court to watch a game. I can't remember who was playing. And 5 minutes, I'd done. Do you know what? In fairness, I didn't realise that there was that much athleticism in tennis.
Yeah.
And for 5 minutes, it was fine. And then I'd done. So I'm never into Wimbledon, Emmenil and all that nonsense. Do you know the one thing? You know the one thing.
He's on one today, isn't he?
He's on.
I'm with Tim.
He is
Abu
on.
Dhabi. I liked him.
That'd be fun.
He didn't win though. We still got an L. The other thing, which I've got no interest in whatsoever, it's just been announced this week, and I'm not sure this will get in because it'll be featured on 5 Live Sport. Anthony Joshua, Scott Parker.
Scott Parker. That'd be a good fight.
Might as well be.
Not Scott
Might
Parker.
as well be
That'd be a
Scott
good fight. He
Parker.
played for Fulham.
Ex-Tottenham player. Ginger lad. Was a dicky ball. It might as well be against him.
Why not? Is that not a big fight?
No, it's not a big fight. He's dodged the big fight. Dodged the big fight.
Fury.
There's only one,
Fury.
actually, possibly 2 fights.
Could be a
There's only
stepping
one-
stone.
Wilder.
Why does he need a stepping stone?
Wilder.
Tyson Fury, he's on Twitter every day offering him out. He's got to lose 55 stone, and he's saying he'll take him on his first fight back in 2.5 years. He don't want a stepping stone. That's the only fight. So we're talking about things which I'm not bothered about, which is a bore fest. Anthony Joshua v Scott Parker's brother.
Not Scott.
And the only sporting event I would like to see,
Yep.
apart from going to watch Lancashire in the 2020s, which I love doing, and I love watching the cricket, is Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury.
Fury, yeah.
That is the only fight people want.
Do you
That
think-
is
do you
it.
think Fury
Don't
would
dodge him. Get on with it.
Do you think Fury's got a chance?
Pardon?
Do you think Fury's got a chance?
chance? A chance? He's got more than a chance. I'd have him favourite.
You know what you're talking about, sporting events you'd like to see? I've got a guy across the table for me who's challenged me to a tennis match.
Table tennis.
A tennis match.
Oh.
We're going to get on. I'm sure we'll be featured on the podcast. Best of 5. Matthew thinks because he played table tennis, he will be a better tennis.
Hang on. The context has got. You've got to get the context. So we're sat there at Ali Pally, and we're having a chat. Your friend from the Daily Mirror, journalist Mike was
Walters,
there.
yeah.
This could be the first tennis match I've ever been interested in.
Stands there, and we're talking about tennis. And Robbie
Can I be
says,
a ball
"Yeah,
boy?
play a bit."
I'll ref it. Can I
You'd be
ref
the
it?
umpire.
Can I get a big chair?
And
like
Robbie
they do-
says, "Yeah, I'll beat you."
like
at
them
tennis."
life-saving ones.
Yeah.
There's swimming pools, big ones.
Like lifeguard. And I'm thinking to myself, the transferable skills between table tennis, racket sport, and tennis, the movement and all of the rest of it, are much more similar than football.
Yeah, but
to tennis.
you're missing
And,
a point.
So
here.
I said to Robbie, I think I'll beat you. Robbie, immediately, we put a bet on it.
Not a small one, a small
Yeah, we
one.
put a small bet on
charity.
it.
Yeah, but is
And
it tennis like table tennis for adults?
So a squash player,
I think squash is.
could beat me at table tennis.
I think it's got definitely.
How?
Because they've built up all of that training and understanding of
different
movement
sport.
and hitting a moving ball.
I reckon a squash player has got more chance of beating you at tennis than a table tennis player.
Yes.
You don't think he can
Yes.
beat me at tennis, Fred?
Look at
He
you.
has absolutely
You haven't
It
got a
was
set
Wales
in
number
you.
4.
At tennis?
Yes. Tom Jones was 5.
Might be nasty. Look here, you haven't got. You're not.
was
you
just
Welsh
about
You haven't got a
four,
set.
kid.
You haven't
He's a
got a
kid.
set in you. Look here. You
You
haven't
were the
got a
Welsh
set
number
in
4
you.
at tennis.
I'm not saying anything. I've said you have a bet.
Stan, was he the
but-
Welsh number 4 at tennis?
I can't.
No, the story
He played
goes.
for Wales
the story
at tennis.
goes. When I was in school, so I played for my school team, and what happened in school is you had.
You've been lying all these years. You told me you were number 4.
Listen. You had number 1, 2, 3, and 4
I bet you
for
love
your
Beyond
school.
Borg.
So you'd go to another. You'd go to another school, and then you write your so Robbie number 1, and you'd give it to their teacher, and then they'd have their forms, and I'd play against their number 1. Their number 1 was Welsh number 3. He come with all his rackets. He had about 10 rackets, and I had the school wooden racket, and I beat him 6-4
And he was the number 3 in Wales at what age group?
under 16.
Have you got your own bat?
I've got a racket, yeah.
I've got a good racket if you want it.
No, you
What
give
are
me
you-
it,
what are
Tim
you-
Edmonds.
I'll give it you, didn't I? Tim
Yeah.
Edmonds, yeah.
It was actually Henman's racket.
Proper one, yeah.
No way.
So
You've got. I didn't
I can't
know that
get you-
about
We're going halves on the bet, me and Rob.
tell you what then.
I think you got
I can't,
absolutely
but I
no
can't, this
chance.
is an interesting topic. I can't get your thinking why you think. So anybody who plays racket sport, yeah, would beat somebody. So you're saying a squash player, a table tennis player, a tennis player. So a tennis player would beat me at table tennis. A squash player would beat me.
He's got a bit confused here.
No, but you're trying to say is because you played a racket sport, table tennis. That means you would, because you're hand-eye coordination.
Exactly.
But
Unless
you've got to move playing tennis. Look at you. You're 4 stone wet through. You haven't got a set in
Okay,
yet.
if it's a 5-set game, I'll have to get a bit fitter. But when it comes to the actual connecting
You've
with
got
the
the
ball,
power.
moving around the court, I've got
You
to
haven't got
tell
the power.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Unless you've been practicing tennis
No,
on the
don't need
quiet
to.
for years, I don't think you got a chance.
I won at Queen's. I won at a competition at Queen's Club. Doubles.
Okay, this is big.
I won at a
We'll
competition
do it. We should
I'm
try
all
and
right.
do it as part of sport relief or something.
Yeah, but I
Do
don't
it for
get you
charity.
thinking. Why are you saying? Because you played a racket.
Wait,
sport, you would beat
hang
me.
on a minute.
Transferable
Hang
skill.
on a minute, Matthew. This has gone from a charity bet to trying to raise your profile. Why are you trying to raise your profile on Sport Relief?
Good point. Good point.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm presenting that night. You're not coming on my hour. I'm not wasting my hour with you.
So quickly then, for people who are listening to this,
Yeah.
why do you think that physically I'm in better shape than you? Physically, I look better.
I'll go along.
Physically,
You're
I'm
fitter.
stronger. Physically, all my natural attributes are better. But the only thing you...
Whoa.
Hang on.
What are your
Hang
natural
on.
attributes?
What?
Talk
Oh,
us
my hair,
through
my
them.
hair, my eyes, my teeth.
All right, be on board.
Yeah. So
Like
basically,
a young Andre Agassi, aren't you?
why do you think you would beat me? Because you played table tennis.
All
It's
right,
a
no, I
completely
reckon
different
more of a
sport.
young Steffi Graf. You got an hooter on you, haven't you?
Maybe not. So why just?
Okay,
I'm interested
in
to
a
think.
nutshell. Unless you've
Pipe
been
down,
doing a lot of practice that we're not aware of, what
You're
gonna
like
bring-
a modern day Agassi, aren't you?
What do you mean?
Dude,
Before and after. Before and after. Go on, so explain to me.
Think about it. For years, I have been practicing hitting a moving ball at pace and having the bodily movements to make the connection and put spin on it and read spin.
Yeah, on a table.
Tennis.
On a
Tennis.
table.
That's
It's
what
not
I've
a
been
table.
doing all my life.
Yeah, I think
It's in a moving ball.
I think
Yes.
you'd be better.
Spins.
There
I
you
can't
go.
play tennis.
There you
You're not
go.
very good at tennis.
Not
So
interested,
there
to
you
be
go.
honest.
There's your argument straight out the window.
But
For me, if I could play tennis, it's like hockey. You know, of all the things you want to be good at, for me, it'd be a waste. What's the point in being good at tennis or hockey?
What?
I
What do you mean?
love that. I love
I'd
tennis.
sooner
It's a great sport.
You got Mike. You
Yeah,
got
you'd be a multi-millionaire as well.
I'd sooner be good at Scrabble.
But he's made
Or
a good point.
Kapunk.
Andrew's made a good point here.
Operation. That's a better game.
So you've just said because you hit he hits a moving ball
Buckaroo.
quicker than you.
Yeah, but a different technique in cricket. In tennis and table tennis, you're hitting backhands and forehands in a
don't
roughly
move.
similar way. Yeah, but you do have to move.
Well,
we're going
the
to
yard.
Robbie, we're going to find out. We are going to find out because you and I will go head to head. Let's have a date. March, April. When do you want to do it?
We'll work on the day.
Okay.
We'll work on it.
Where are you going to play? Can we get a posh club to play
I'm
at?
sure. Where can we play?
why don't we-
Indoor, outdoor.
Indoor.
Either. Happy. Either way. What do you mean indoor?
Indoor.
You can play indoor tennis.
Yeah.
Not standing outside watching
Oh,
tennis.
indoor. We'll play indoor.
You're going to cut.
If I get a chair and a coffee, I don't want to be
Tell you what
outside.
we'll do. We'll do it.
Open
We'll do
to
it.
elements.
I'll book a court in David Lloyd in here. So after one pod, we'll go and play.
Okay.
Then you
done.
can get a
What
later
kind
train
of
on.
surface is it, David Lloyd?
I don't know.
But it's a good proper surface, decent.
I'm not sure David Lloyd have like rubbish services.
Okay, well, we're on. But just to finish off this segment, you've talked about the stuff you're not looking forward to. World Cup, Joshua against Scott Parker.
What's Parker's name? What is it called?
Name's
Peter Parker.
he's Superman.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Joseph Parker.
Joseph Parker.
What are you most looking forward to?
This year, in terms of what?
Or otherwise?
Sport or otherwise, I am looking.
Royal wedding?
Royal wedding? No.
No.
Same day as the FA Cup final, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's correct, I think. What I'm most looking forward to. Do you know what? I can't believe I'm going to say it. I'm most looking forward to getting rid of my Mini.
Oh, the Mini?
Yeah, it's got to go.
Why? What's happened to the Mini?
I'm having something.
Oh, you were so happy with it. I
Mate,
told you this had happened.
do you know
I
what?
told
People
you.
still-
I told you. I
Yeah,
told you
I
this
know.
had
love
happened.
it. affair's over.
Mrs. is going mad with me. It's going wrong. So before Christmas, I was driving it. I'd not drove it for about 15 days. right? So I got up the drive, reversed it, started driving it, and it conked out. Conked out, come to a stop, had to pull in somebody's drive, engine management, like, come on, stopped it, put it back on, started going, got to the gym. Anyway, am I boring you yet?
A little bit, but carry on.
Listen, so it's started to go wrong. So then it gets fixed. It had a winter service, which was about 230 quid. Come back to my house, everything's top shape.
It was best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, I know.
Only a
Listen,
few
and
months
it's going to
ago.
break my heart. Get rid of the Mini. Then, last week, took it out my drive again. Smoke everywhere. One of the springs had snapped, went into the tyre, and the tyre blew up. And now I've driven it this morning again with Stanley for the first time, and now the red horseshoe.
Have you come in the Mini today?
Yeah. What?
Never mind the Mini. Why did you not pick me up?
You couldn't
Why
fit
did you
in
not
it
pick me
last.
up?
You couldn't fit
No,
in it last time.
you said you can't pick me up because you're coming in Ferrari.
I haven't got
So
a
you
Ferrari.
got 2 seats.
I haven't got a Ferrari.
I said I'm on your way. Stan lives round the corner from where I'm living at the minute. You said you're not picking me up because you.
You have got a Ferrari.
No, I haven't got a Ferrari. He just makes it up. You know what he's like.
Why did you not pick me up?
So, because I was
you not
going to
pick me up?
come in my wife's car, but it's got no petrol in.
Hang on, that's a Range Rover. I could spread out it back of that.
Tell you what, the podcast is in jeopardy here.
So the Mini
Why did you not pick me up?
has got to go. It's got to go.
Okay.
And I'm just going to break my heart. So I'm not looking forward to getting rid of it.
Right, 2 things on that, Rob.
Yeah.
I predicted this.
You did, yeah.
And
my wife did.
But I didn't have you down for a fair weather friend. That Mini needs you, and it's our need. You're just going to palm it off. It needs you. You could be a cricket commentator.
It's got.
You're there for the good times. You have a go in the bad times.
It's got to go.
The poor
Keep
Mini.
going
John
wrong.
Cooper will be turning. Is he dead?
Don't know.
John Cooper will be either turning his grave or he'll be very unhappy.
Got to go, John. See you, John. John's off. That's going to break people's hearts. John's going.
Oh, unbelievable. What I'm looking forward to.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to if Joshua and Tyson Fury ever fight. But away from sport, I'm living in an hotel at the minute.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting.
Sold your house and you
I
haven't
sold
got
my
the new
house in a rush. I needed the cash. I needed the cash. No, I sold my house. I got an offer I couldn't refuse. So we got out quickly. I'm living in a hotel. And I'm looking forward to living like the rest of the world, or most of them. I want to live in an house.
A lot of people would think it's luxury to live in a hotel.
It's a nice place as well, but I just need to live in a house.
You've been there
Or a
for
flat.
3 months, 3 or 4 months.
Wow.
Well, yeah, the family have been, 2 months, yeah. 2 months. And
Just go back to your bed. It's like being...
there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Do you know what you miss? Like, do you know the simplest of things? I just want a couch. I just want to sit on a couch.
Well, you haven't got an hotel room without a couch in.
It's got a couch which turned into a sofa bed for one of the kids. I just want to sit on a couch.
Yeah, yeah.
Where does really? So you got the 3 kids. One's in your room. So where does the magic happen?
Magic?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Where does the magic happen?
I don't know what you mean.
Oh yes, you do, Andrew.
I don't know what you mean. Magic. I don't know, Robert. All day, every day, our relationship, magic.
Guys, that
Are
was
you
brilliant.
looking forward to? Whoa.
Yeah.
Sport or otherwise?
Anything.
Do you know, I think the World Cup will be brilliant. I love the World Cup. Seeing the greatest players in one of the most competitive sports on our planet going head to head in the most prestigious event, I think that will be fascinating. I think there's going to be. I'm looking forward to the wedding. Harry and Meghan.
Oh yeah.
I'm a real royalist, me.
I hope I get a good seat this time. I was sat at the back at Williams.
You did.
Hey, you've been hanging out with Harry, haven't you?
All the time. No, I think the royal wedding will be good. I think it'll be nice.
I think it brings the nation together.
It does, yeah.
Royal Wedding, thumbs up. Brilliant, guys. Thank you. And thank you for listening. If you missed any of all the shows we've done today, they're available to download at the 5 Live website and all the usual podcast places. Please use the hashtag FredSavSide to get in touch through the week. If you could leave a review on iTunes and give us a rating, that would be great. We'll be back at the same time next week. But for now, from all of us, goodbye. Hi, welcome to Flintoff, Savage and the Ping Pong Guy. That's
I'm a bit more enthusiastic.
Yeah, dear me.
Okay.
welcome to Flintoff, Savage and the Ping Pong Guy. And
I love how everybody puts meaty topics now on the thing.
Yeah. He's got a catchphrase, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's got a catchphrase.
Flintoff, Savage and the Ping Pong Guy.
Thank you for downloading the Flintoff, Savage and the Ping Pong Guy podcast. If you like what you hear, then why not have a look at what else 5 Live podcasts have to offer at bbc.co.uk/5live.